Now, on this episode, we are going to implement authentication, and we've seen how to implement authentication on the backend side with the help of NestJS, right? And all those JWT and have the valid token. So in this episode, we're going to see how to implement authentication for our mobile app. So basically, it's free to view the product in our application. The user can view the product, can see what product we have available, but there are some couple of endpoints or feature that we need to make sure the user has access to it and he has or she has done login or sign up and those kind of things to ensure that the security is in good condition, in good place. And also we need to make an app more to personalize and making sure the user can only view the information that he or she belongs to. So with that being said, it means we need to make sure we handle authentication properly. So the scenarios of doing checkout maybe, and also to view the information of that particular user, and also to know the orders of that user. So the user needs to know the information based on the order that he may done. So maybe if he ordered 2 items, we need to make sure we only show the orders that are belonging to that specific user, right? So with those, it means we need to make sure when the user is doing checkout, he needs to have a valid token and ensure that he is authenticated, and also after that then you can process that order, and also for a user also to view and see all of the orders that he or she has placed. We need to know which user. So we will use heavily the token that we've generated from the backend to know the user that is currently accessing that particular endpoint. Okay, so in a very simple way, we will use we will see how to store those information of the user on Hive. We've seen how to use Hive on cat feature, but we don't want to fetch every time the information of the user every time he or she has access on the app. So those kind of information will be stored locally and he can have those information. But the only thing that may change is if he or she decide to do some update on those information, right? And also we will do some update, and then we can retrieve all those information and he will have current information. But if the user is not doing any kind of update of his information, then we will do a refresh token. So because the token will expire, so every time if we are returning unauthorized, and it means maybe the user is accessing the endpoints that are secured, it means we need to do some refresh token and then give the user a new token so he can continue to continue and process and do all those and access the endpoint that maybe need a token. So with that, let's see how to do an authentication on our mobile app, and we can give our app an ability to protect some particular endpoint or features that may need to be that may need the user to be authenticated or authorized. So with that, the main thing also here is to check what are the endpoints that we need, and we need only 2 endpoints. The first endpoint is the sign up. So here the user will do some sign up. This is a normal endpoint. We don't want to keep it much. We don't want to do any complex stuff. So he will need to fill the name, the email, and the password. The address, you don't need to do that because we will see the user maybe have an ability to have multiple addresses. But so for this, it's just an error, that it's not a big deal, okay, but you can leave it as an empty string. Okay, so the only thing we need on sign up is name, email, and password. Okay, and also the other endpoint is the endpoint to login, and this is where once the user has been able to log in, then we can give back the information and also the token, and that token will be used for the user to access endpoints that are protected. Okay, so when we do API integration, first thing is we need to know the response of all the endpoints that we are working on. So the first endpoint is sign up. We need to know to see the response of it, and then we can do some those kind of important things in order to do some serialization and deserialization. Okay, so we can say here, we need to test because we need to know the response. So here is test 3, just normal. And I think we will also test this on part 1. Okay, so so we know this is a response. Okay, that's good. So there's email, the password. If this doesn't need to be come back here, we need to fix that on the back end. We don't need to return the password, the role, an address, and the created that. It's okay. So we know the response of this, and also we need to know the response of login. So normally the backend person will give you the information of the test user for testing the login. Okay, so this is our user that is available on the database. So if we can hit this, we will have this information. So we'll see there's a user information itself and also the access token. So these are the information that we need, and this you need to understand these also are the information that we need to store on Hive. So you will need this because if we will implement a profile page of the user, then this is the kind of information that we need to fill those. So the user needs to know to have that profile page, and he can see all those information. And also if he decide to do some update on those, he can do also. But also this is a important thing, the token, because there are endpoints like checking out, viewing all your orders. You need to have the valid token, and then from there we can do some verification on the backend and also decode the information. And if everything is perfect, fine, then we will give you back the information that you need. So the endpoint will see you have to be authenticated, and you have to give us the token. Okay, so with this it means we can go back to our app. We have all the information that we need, and we can start implement that. Okay, so we'll go to features, and then we'll add one more feature. Okay, authentication. And to just speed up the video, I will just add all the folders for the structure, because we know this folder structure is how it goes. We have D, models, presentation, repository, and all these will be exported from here, and then we will only need to export this, and we will have all the information that is in the products folder. Okay, so let me do that, and then we come back here, and then we'll see where to start and what other steps we need to take. The folders that are needed, and it's the same as other features. So we've seen the response and everything that we need to work on it. So what will be the steps to follow? So usually it's to create these params. So the first, it will be to create the params for creating for submitting login information, and also to create the params for submitting sign up information, right? And then we will move to the response, and the main response that we only need here is the user response, because it contains all the information that we need, right? So with the help of Freezed, we know we can achieve this. So we can create a Freezed class, and then can call it create, or we can just call it sign up param. Okay, and it will ask it to JSON from JSON, yes. And then here we need to start filling out, and we know how to do this, we've done it. And but if you are coming from, you are new to this, you're only watching this, it's okay, you can understand. So now we're just creating the information, and Freeze will create all those necessary things from JSON to JSON, copy with, and all those necessary stuffs. So we need just to check we have a name is a string, an email is a string, all of these are the strings. So let's move quickly, and then a password, and also we need, I think, let's check, we have, what do we have, name, email, oh I forgot the name, string, name, okay, and also we have address. So in address I just want to, but it's okay, address, not phone but address. So make sure they're the same, because if you control V, I think, and the password, okay, and also just make sure they're the same here, because, and this one, okay. And after this we need to run that runner build runner build, and then just delete conflict. And also there's watch, but I'm not a fan of watch, but you can use also watch, which means it will always check if there's some changes and then it will update. So it's you can use it, of course, maybe if you are dealing with a lot of code generation, then it's okay, then it's a good way to use watch, which it will always run, and you won't need to do anything rather than just edit the class itself. Okay, so we need a signup param. Also we will need, because when we interact with the repository we will need this information, and then we can submit them to the backend. So I think everything is good. If you can check the signup params to JSON, okay, email, password, name, and address. Yeah, we won't use from JSON, but it depends. Sometimes you may need to do some kind of but we don't need here. Okay, let's move quickly here. Let's export this. Okay, and then we need a signup param. Okay, and also on the this auth we need to create authentication.dat outside, which will take everything that we need. Authentication.dat, and the first thing it will say we need the model itself, so we check the model.dat, and we will have access to all those. Now we need also to create a login param. Okay, so here just call login param, and then just to JSON, yes. And here we need required, here we just need the email and the password. So it's a string, all of them that are string. So a string, email required, thank you, Codium. I'm using Codium here, so it's a great code completion. Okay, so we only need password and email, then it's, I think it's cool with that. And then we can run again that run to generate for us all necessary things. Okay, and good. Now we want to use, we won't need the response from this created, because what I've done and what I've planned to do is once the user successfully sign up, he will be back. He will be redirected to the login page, and then he will fill those information. Then he will go and access all those information that all features or pages that you may need to be authenticated. So with that, it means I just want to need the user response itself. Okay, I don't need anything rather than the user's response itself. And this will happen once the user has successfully logged in. Then I will get all the user's response, and that what I will do is, after getting those user response, I will save them on Hive, and the information will be available locally, and anytime the user want to get to see the information of him or herself, he will be able to see that. And only later on we will have another episode to do a refresh token, and the only thing it will happen is if the user is getting an 4 or 1, meaning unauthorized, we will do some refreshing token, and then it can be able to access all those necessary information. Okay, and if for this we also implement logout, which means it will clear all those information that are available on the offline storage, and it will just clean out and everything. So we will see how to do that. So what I need to make sure is to also create the class itself for the user response, and then from there we can go back, we can move on to the repository and start to interact with our APIs. Okay, so we need to create that, so we can call it so we have user response, and then I can just put it in one file, user response dot. No, I will need to use freeze with that, and then you can do everything that we need. Use the user response that is coming from our server, and then you can use this to generate the user response with the help of freeze. So I didn't want to go through, but basically you can just create like this. So user itself will be this information that is inside the user, and then access token also will be as just a normal string. And with this, I think we are good. So we can go to the auth repository, and then we can start to implement it, and auth repository, and then you need final DO service. Okay, so DO, like all of the features that we've done. Okay, and then we can add it as required. So we need the first method, we need to in the method to do some registration. So it's either, okay, so we're using that, and then here it's either failure or just a bool. We don't need to return anything, and then we can call this register. Okay, sign up, any name you can come up with, it's okay. And then unsync, and I think here for some reason I don't know, okay, it's agreeing to come, and this is the error handler. And then here we need the sign up param. Okay, so sign up param, I need sign up param. Okay, let me do this. I cannot see the full, so let me copy this, and then because I want it to be imported from authentication itself, .dat, and then okay, and here I can see it well. I want it to come from authentication. Okay, now we need to try and catch like normal, like how we're doing. Then here on okay, on DO exception, can just, there's also a very professional way of handling these errors very efficiently, but the video, we will try to have special episode for all of this information. Okay, so now the response and the response itself, they go to await DO service. Okay, and then this is post. Oh, good. And but it's not register. Okay, so it is auth for sign up. Okay, this one auth. This we are dealing with auth sign up, so we can that one. Okay, and then the params to JSON itself will handle everything. Okay, and then here we need to, okay, so what if the status code is 201, then we know for sure. So if status code come on response, okay, but it is response dot status code, okay, is 201. Okay, so here, and then else, okay, just return left, and then you can just response data string. So yeah, so I think with here we're done. We don't need, because after user has been successfully logged in, we will redirect to the as being successfully signed up, we will direct the user to the login page, and then we will handle everything there. So in here, we can do for the login, login, okay, and then here it's a login param, okay, and here it's a login itself, and then it's the same 200, but here it's user response, okay, user response. I don't need this. They keep putting, but did I not? Let's go to model, export. Okay, I need to export also login param, and also export user response itself. Okay, and with this I think I can have all this information. Okay, if this for the sign up, we know it will be 201, then we know for sure. If they start, then the area is going to be user response, okay, user response from JSON, and then we can have response dot data, okay, and we don't need to use const here. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so this is just a simple, as you can see, we after the user has been signed up, then we'll go back to login, and then if the login information will be successfully, what will be returned is this one. And with this, now what we need to do is we need to handle storing this information locally, because what is going to happen is if the user has been successfully logged in, we gonna need to install all those information that are coming from the user response locally, and from there it means the information is always available on the device. No need to fetch and all those information. The only thing that may change is that access token. That will be you can implement refresh token. It means if there's 41, then it means you need to give the user new token to have info, so he can have access to the endpoint that are protected. So now let's go to see how we're going to use Hive. It's pretty similar like how we did on cart, for those users who've checked my video on how to implement shopping cart. Okay, so let's now see what we need to store this information on the device. Let's see what we need to implement Hive, and we need to know what kind of information we need. So first thing is to create a new file. We can just call it user data. Okay, so data.dart, and in here we can implement Hive with the help of, I think, Hive, extend Hive. Okay, user data itself, Hive object, and here we will put it as type I don't know, come on, I'm inside. Okay, so type is going to be 1 because in cart is 0, and so basically what we're doing here is we are defining our model itself, and then it will create an adapter for us, and for that it'd be very easy to manipulate this user data information. So the first thing is Hive field, which is int. Okay, and then also Hive field, and also it's going to be a string, and then it's going to be 1, and then here string is a name. Okay, and also Hive field is also a string, going to be 2, and then we need here to store it's an email, and also here Hive field is we need is role. Okay, so all these are coming from, we get this information on this. Okay, so my role, and then you can just, and also I field is 4, and it's an access token. Okay, so access token, and with this we can, okay, and then we can generate constructor. Okay, and I think with this we are good. So the only thing we need to do is run this, so we can have an adapter for it. That run build runner. Okay, build in. As you can see, these are all the steps that you need when you need to interact with Hive, and with the help of the extensions I've shown you earlier on Hive, we can do these things pretty much quickly. Okay, Hive Flutter snippet, and then it can help you do that. So we have the adapter ready. With this, we can go to the our auth injection, and then we can create future void I'll call auth injection container, and then we can say hive.register, let me import it. Okay, register adapter, it's called user adapter. Okay, and then it's a type of user data. Okay, so user data itself, user data. Okay, so Hive register, and also we need to open the box, hive.open box. Okay, we can call this user, and then we can call this user data. Okay, and also we can also do just we can register singleton, lazy singleton, mean we only it will only be initialized only when we need it. Okay, and then that's the use of register lazy singleton. Okay, so auth repository you can import from authentication, and this here is the type of auth repository. I think, Okay, so and then we can go to the core and then the D, and then we can also await and then okay, and then we can export this here, export, and then D, the injection container, and then with this it means we can have access to it. Okay, and then this is coming from our authentication.dat. So with this we are good. We need to create auth service itself, and then add all the method that we may need. Okay, so here let me do this quickly. You can say export auth service, and then we can go to export itself here. Then we can say service, and then we can have service. Okay, so all these are just things we do always, exporting these files and classes, so we won't need to export too many things on one file. We can import authentication.dat itself. We can have access to all of this information. So in here we can create a class auth service, and then we will add all those methods. We need the method to get the information of the user that is available on our box itself. To save that information, it means once the user has successfully logged in, we will store this information to Hive, and basically the last is to delete that information. So we may do that if the user click logout. Okay, that's the only way, that's the only time we may need to interact with Hive to delete the user. Otherwise, the only thing that may be changing is the token. It must be refreshed, but the information of the user must stay the same unless the user decides to update one of those information. Okay, so let's add all those methods here, and then we will go to blog, and then we can see what are the things that we need to implement, and then we can finalize on the UI part, and I think from there we'll be done with the authentication. Okay, so here we're just creating a class of the service that will define methods. There's user data, which will be the method responsible for getting information that is from the Hive box itself. And also a save, which means it will save those information from the to Hive, and then we will have access to that. And also the delete. So just 3 methods, and that's all we need for now to store and get all the information, and also delete. And also on Hive injection container, just register singleton. Okay, so why are we register singleton and not register lazy singleton? Register lazy singleton will just be responsible for initializing this only when you need it. Okay, so it will save us in terms of memory performance, but register singleton, it means this will be available once the app start, and then it will do this initialization. Why? Because we want to have the information of the user from the moment that the application opens. Okay, and because we will see where we later on where we will use the access token to get the information from the protected endpoints, and from there we want to make sure the token is available, and we don't want to initialize only when we are in the need of it. So the key difference here is register singleton. This class will be initialized as soon as the app start, and the register lazy singleton, this class will be only initialized on the time that you only need. So register lazy singleton is good for performance and memory, and you just have to figure out yourself if what you need. But the key difference is, as I explained, is register lazy singleton, it will not be initialized. It will not be initialized only when you need it, and register singleton, it will be initialized from the moment the app start. So also the last part is also you just go to the injection container and add it. Okay, now I think we are good. Now we can start to implement our blog, and we have everything that we need, and from there on we can see. So we will implement the blog and all the things, and interact with our repository, our services, to make sure we store the information, we authenticate the user, and it will be only access features that may require the token itself. To use Hive to define how our model would look like, and generate the adapter for the user data. And now the next thing to do is to handle the state itself. So we will need to implement blog. So I will go here, create freeze block, and then just call it auth, and then I think it will no, can I undo? I want to undo it. Come on. I will create, let me see, I just write it block, and then move this inside. Yes, because here we are going to have, as you know, we're going to have pages and the other stuffs. Okay, so now we have created this. No, let me delete it, and then because I think sorry, let me do this, and then inside block create freeze block, the name give out block. Okay, now this is good. Okay, so quickly we will go to state and define state also, and we will go to event, and then we will start to implement the logic inside auth block class itself. Okay, so this will be my last way of how to define block. I think other features on orders and I mean this will be the last way you can define state. For me, I will use this as the last one, and then another feature we will see how we're going to use also code generation and freeze also to define our state. It's pretty simple. Okay, but for now let's still use the normal way that we used to do. Okay, so use status, and then we have initial. Okay, initial. I'm not going to do that for now, just loading, loaded, and error. Okay, and inside here use const factory, I don't want to use this. Okay, no, I want to use the last way of using. This will be the last, so you're going to say inside here, and then it goes to auth state. Okay, and then am I tired or something? Okay, so we have to define factory, and then we'll define all state, we're going to define initial, and then inside you're going to say user status is going to be initial. It's not user status, it is, we need to define here because we didn't define here. Okay, so required user status, and then we're going to have required user data. Okay, I think this is coming from, and also we need some also required string error message, but I can keep it as error itself, the string. And then here this will be coming from authentication, and this also the user data will be now, for now, on initial state, and also for the string itself we can keep it as an empty string. Okay, so and after defining our state, these are the things we need for now, and then we can go to event. And let me do, if I can do this quickly, we will have two events for now. Factory auth event, we can call this create user. This will be our first event, and we can call it create user. Can you do me? And then const, I want you to write it, and factory auth event dot login user, and the last part will be logout user for now. Okay, and also we have, let me copy this and copy logout. We have also an event to load the information for user. This will be, we will do this to get all the information coming from the Hive itself. So here we have sign up param, and here we have login param. I think these are the correct ones. Yes, correct ones. And also these. Oh, sorry, I need to, okay. Param, okay. Email string. So this is all we need on the event and also on the state for now. And what we need to do is we need to generate this. So that run build random build delete conflict. So here we can leave this. What's happening? This is a mistake. This should be a load user and we have logout user. That's why we had this issue. Sorry, so let's the name are the same, so the generator didn't understand. Okay, so let's wait for the last time. We need to interact with, we need two classes on this out block. we need auth repository itself. You can just call auth repository, and also we need auth service, so we can be able to also obtain information from from Hive itself. And here we will add them as required. So this dot auth repository, and also required this dot auth service. Okay, so so after this, we now need to handle the business logic once our event has been added. So the first one will be on create user itself. Okay, so say on create user. Okay, and also okay, and then we will handle the logic for on, I'm just adding them all on, I think on login, we call it login user. We can say on login user, and then you can create that method. And the last one will be on logout. No, we still have to on load user. You can call this on load user. This, we will use this to get information from Hive, and then we can also log out user. Okay, what should happen once this event has been added? Log out user. Okay, then good. Now let's start on create user. So what we need here, this is just a future. Okay. So what we need here is first, when this event has been triggered, we need to we will change the state. Okay, and then you can say the state, how did I call user status, then we can call user status dot loading. Okay, and then we will communicate with our repository. So again, say wait auth repository dot register. We gave the information coming from event dot param. Okay, so this is going to return us either right or left. Then okay, so result what fold. Okay, if left, so if it's a failure. Okay, what we need to emit state dot copy with, and then error will be coming from failure dot message, and also this user status will be user status dot error. Okay, and if this response was successfully, then we are going to just say emit user loaded, because what is going to happen here is once we are successfully sign up, we will redirect the user to login, and then he will do the login, and that part is where we will be able to get those information and then store that on Hive. So with this we will be good, but we will test all this when we go to the UI part. Okay, now we need also to handle login user. Okay, and then load user and log out user. Okay, so let's move to login user, and so what we need here is state as usual. You're gonna copy from this one, okay, and then after that we have final result is equal to await auth repository dot, we have login, and it expects some params, so you are giving him from event.param. we need this put as a nice thing, and then also here we have two, okay, so await result dot fold, we have a left side which is a failure, okay, and then also a right side which is going to give us the data itself, okay. So if you can see here, this is going to be the user response, but here we're not returning anything rather than the bool, okay. And so for the failure part, this one will be the same, okay. So we're just going to notify our user, and then we're going to get that failure and then show that to our user, okay. And I think okay, and then now what will be happening on the right side, okay. So on the right side, this is where we will store the information on Hive, and then we will emit the state of the user that you have those information, because for now the state is now this user data, okay. But after successful login, we will get the user information, okay, and then we will store all this information, okay. So let's tackle this also. What we need to do is after we have the response back, we will have this right side return for, it gives us the user response, okay. And then what we need to save that information, okay. So the first one will be the name, we'll get that from data.user.name, okay. And then we also have the email, and then we'll get that from data.user.email, and also we get the ID, which is very important, also data.user.id, and the last one is access token. It is coming from the data itself, access token, okay. And then we will communicate with auth service, okay. Communicate with auth service. I need to put an await here. Oh, sorry, an async, sorry. Okay. And what did we call auth service? Okay. Dot, we have the save user data. We give it the user data itself. Dot then, and then we can okay, so the value itself, and then we can just do some checks here. If the value is not equal to null, okay, you need to put an await there. If the value is not equal to null, then emit state dot copy with, then status, use status. I'm just gonna keep it user status loaded, but also this user data will be user data itself. Okay. Now, after login, we will also store this information on Hive. Okay. And I think here we are good. Also, let's handle on load user here. Return sync. Okay. And then first we're going to emit. When we load the user, I just want to keep the user data to null, and then I'm gonna use try and catch. Okay, and then here we're going to communicate with Hive of auth service, and then user info goes to await auth service dot get user data. Okay, so if the user info is not null, okay, so we're going to emit. Okay, going to emit the new user. Okay, and then copy with, can say the user data itself is the user info. Okay, good. And on catch, we will emit the error itself. So we can notify the user. Emit state copy with error is equal to e to string. Okay, and then user status is equal to user status error. Okay, so this is if the event of our load user has been triggered. And the last one is logout. Here, what we're going to do here is we can state dot copy with, okay, and then user data will be now, user status will be equal to user status dot initial, but also we will communicate with all service to delete user data. Okay, here let me see, so it will delete this information. Okay, we will test all of this and make sure they are working fine, and if there's any issue we will debug it together. Okay, so with this, for now the block is good and we can start to interact with the presentation layer, the UI layer, and then you can communicate with block. So the last thing here to do is to add the injection. Okay, so auth injection here, and we need to register this and all of the necessary things. So locator dot register lazy now block. You can use locator itself, and also on the last you can use locator, and then we need auth block also on the app view. You need, I think, BL block provider. Where is it? Okay, we're not providing any child. Okay, and here is going to be auth block. Let me clear this, and let me export it here. export coming from presentation blog auth, and then our blog, and then in here blog itself. Okay, so I think here everything is fine, and then now we are good to go and start and communicating with blog on our UI. So we'll add pages and widgets. I'm not going to code along because it's just simple form fields. Okay, so there are a couple of things we need to do here. First is I want to add bool to manage this. I will show you what I want to manage on the UI. So I want to add show login. Okay, and then after this I can give its initial state, show login to true. Okay, and here I can go to the event. I need to manage also that event, so I'm going to call this event toggle login. Okay, and then login toggle, and that's good. I can go quickly and run build runner. Okay, build -dk. Okay, so how are we going to manage authentication? So the purpose of making sure we handle authentication first is the user needs to be logged in. He has, in order to submit or make a order. Okay, so he needs to have a valid token, and then we will see when we will implement orders, it is supposed to be a secured endpoint of submitting order. So we need to make sure that we have the information of who is ordering those goods. So we have to make sure that he was authenticated and he has the valid token, so to process that order, right? So now I'm going to add one thing here. I'm going to call it on login toggle. Oh, thank you. I think this is supposed to be load. What did I say? Load. Anyways, not a big deal. Okay, and here just create a method, and then it's just a void which will do some tagging. That's all. So what is going to happen here? No, I need to remove this. Okay, and this, and then I'm going to emit a state. So emit, and then state copy with, and then simple, just say show login is going to be equals to the state of show. So it's like tagging. So if it was false and you click on it, it will be true. If it was true and you click on it, it will go back to false. Okay, so with this we can now, what is going to happen? How are we going to handle this? So first thing is, what I want is, you are allowed to view your product. You are allowed to add to cart. You can say like to product, I want to add them to cart. Okay, so you're allowed to go here, but you are not allowed to go to checkout if you didn't log in. Okay, so if I can go to cart page, you can check out now. It's not doing anything. So what is happening is we need to make sure the user was logged in, and then we have the information of that user, and then from there we can allow the user to continue. So the first thing it will be, you add all your items to cart. To the next thing, you will show the user the list of addresses. So in our e-commerce, the user can have multiple addresses. You can have home address, office address. So that will be the second step. You will choose the address that you want good to be delivered, and then after confirming them, then we can place that order and submit that on the back end, right? So after checkout, you have to go to choosing the address, right? So we need to, before you go to checkout, we need to know if you are logged in or not, okay? And for now, the simple way, we can just check if you have the information on the device. If you have the information of the device, that will be the first thing. But we will have to handle also the token, because if the token expires, we set that to 1 day. If the token expired, we will have to either navigate the user to go back to home page, to login page, or we can implement refresh token. So we will also implement refresh token, so we don't trouble the user on always going back and do login. So I want to have access to the locator itself, okay, and then I want to check if final user info, okay, so of user.get user, if user info is not equal to null, then go to checkout view. But here we will just and let me do this. We will just say I want scaffold. There's no scaffold messenger. Show snack bar. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what I'm doing here first is, because we don't have the page, and then here simply is you are logged in, okay, and if else, we will navigate the user to context dot go name, okay, and then to be app routes dot auth dot name, okay. So quickly, what I've done here in app router, I've added the view itself. So below here I've added this one. So this is the auth view, which will show the auth page itself. We'll go there in a minute. And also in app route, you add the auth view here. So if the user is not logged in, he will have to go to auth view. Otherwise, we will navigate the user to choose the address. But for now, because we did implement that feature first, we'll just show that you are logged in. Okay. So let's see auth view itself, and we'll then test this. Okay. What I've meant is, we need to check if we store your information on the device, not to get the information of the device. So we are checking here with the help of this method. It will check if you've already stored the information of your when you log in, and then we will, from there, it means if we don't have your information, it means you have to do login or sign up, and if we have, we will proceed on the next step. Okay, so now we need to go on auth view, And then what I need to do here first is I need to handle show login. Okay, so context doc select. We've seen how to use this, and then auth doc itself, auth doc. Okay, good. And show login itself will be here. Show login will be here. Okay, so let me show you what's happening here. If now we know for sure we are not logged in, we don't have the information, the device doesn't have our information, we didn't store anything on Hive, right? So and then this one I need to put it here, handle checkout. Okay, so if I click handle checkout, you are logging. Oh my god, why? I think I've used this. Okay, let me do this. Let me clear all of this, and then let me log out. PL off, auth block, and then add auth event, logout user. Okay, and let me refresh, and then let me see. If I click here and then I go checkout, okay, I think it's working. And then if I go to debug mode, okay, let me, and then okay, so I think for some reason while I was testing, maybe I used this device, and then let me refresh and see if this program will continue. Okay. Find out the service, and then let me see. You're logged in, and then why is this happening? The operator can be null. Oh, my bad, sorry, I need to use a wait. Okay, and then here I need to use async. Okay, and then here, okay. Anyways, let me clear this on, sorry, and then okay, let's test this. If I am not logged in, right, so it navigate to the auth, and the purpose of using show login state, which is a boolean type, is to I want to use the same page, but it will act like a page view. So what I need to do is on the login page, I'm just going to comment this, and then I will toggle, okay, and I will copy the same because nothing, I will just toggle this and it will go to the sign up, okay, and I believe here also I will uncomment this, and then so now if it's just I'm using the same page, but instead of navigating, I will use page transition switcher just to switch between page. Okay, so that may be an approach, but it's not necessary that you have to go that way. So if I click login, it will go back to the login view, and if I click sign up, it will go to sign up view. Okay, now let's test sign up, then go back to login. So because what is happening here, what will happen is if I will do some sign up, after I successfully response, I will go back to login, and then after login, then that's where I will be navigated to another step. Okay, I will go to another step, which will be to fetch all the addresses, and if the addresses, you don't have any addresses, then you have to fill the one address to start with, and then you will select that address, and then we will confirm by processing and submitting those information to the backend. But we will see also the backend module of order, and everything will be completely understandable. Okay, so now let's go to sign up view, and then let's implement this also, and the login. It will be pretty simple because we've done a lot of, oh my god, what I've done. Let's Control C. Oh, come on, reject. It will be pretty simple because we've done a lot of API integration, communicating with the server, and so it will be not much complicated. Okay, so let me go go through. So we just, first thing, we're just defining a function. We are validating the state, and if everything is okay, we are checking if the user checked the checkbox, and if not, we need to tell the user to check that. And also we're checking if the password and confirm password are the same. If they're not, we notify the user, and after that we are submitting the information, which for sign up we have sign up param, which will take all those information, and when we submit that on the repository, it will put them to JSON, and then it can be able to send them to our server. Okay, and from here we are using block provider, and then we are adding this event, and then we are adding the parameters that it needs. Okay, and then here, as usual, the fields need the controllers, so we pass the controllers and also the validations, okay, for each field. And here we just obscure text, and it's just to show the password or not show once the user is typing, so you can choose to do that. And also password is required, confirm password is same, and then, and this is a checkbox itself for agreeing to shopping the terms and condition. And then we're using block consumer to be able to listen and build at the same time. So here we are passing that function we define, and when the user click the sign up button, what will happen, we will use block consumer to listen for the state. So the first is if the user is the state is of the user status is user status loading, we will show the loading dialog, and if the user, which it's just a normal dialog. Okay, and then if the user status changed to loaded, here you can say anything. We can say success. We remove this dialog, and then we toggle so we can go back to the login. And also if there's an error, we will remove the dialog, and then we will show that error. Okay, so we will test this. Okay, I just wanted to explain. And then when we go to login view, it's just a normal also the same. We have function, we have a login param for login. We are communicating with block, we're adding that event, we're passing the parameters that it need, and then we're disposing. We're adding the form key here also, just a normal text, the field with their controllers and validations, and the secure text here, okay, and also the block consumer here. So, and then the same here, if the user status is loading, we're showing that we are communicating with our server, and if it's loaded, we're just saying login successfully, and we're removing the dialog. So for now, because we did implement the shipping address feature, we will just say login successfully, and then that's it for now. But we will test and see if we will also test something here. I will show you, but now let's run this and test if everything is working fine. And I will do one last thing here for the test, for the purpose of this testing out if we are storing the information of the user, because what is happening, if everything is working fine, we are expecting to have that information of the user on Hive. Okay, so you remember our block on login user, we are sending and storing the information. Okay, so on the checkout, we are using that. If we have the information of the user on this device, then we will want to allow the user to go to another step, and if not, we will direct the user to the login page. Okay, so let's test everything here and see if it's working fine. Okay, so let's test this. Let's see if we go to checkout. I believe we didn't install anything. We'll be directed to login. Let's do some sign up. So test, I'm just going to write test user. Okay, test user, and then test user, I don't know, 18. Oh my god, I have to remember this. I have to remember test user at gmail.com, and the password is 12345. Let's say 1234, and this is for also secure text, so we can see. But if we click, we will say please accept. It will pop notify us, please accept. But if we click, password doesn't match. Let me add the remaining one, and then let's click, and then we will be directed back to login, and then that's good. So we know we have test user at gmail.com, and then 12345, and then login. What is it? Let me go to login. Did I not call this? Okay. we need to call this login. Okay, and then it will be here. I didn't call it, my bad. Okay, now if we click login successfully. Okay, so I want to test one thing for now, because we still did implement the feature of shipping and all that. I want to reload this. Okay, so if you remember, we were redirected to auth, and if now I click checkout, you are login. Okay, but let me do this. I've created simple page on the profile for now, and which it just call the logout. What if I click logout? It will, this logout, it will delete the user. Okay, and then if this one, it will delete the user from Hive itself. So it means if I go to home and then I go to checkout, I will be redirected back to enter your email and the password. And if I go again, because we don't have those information, at gmail.com and 1 2 3 4 5, and then click login, you log in successfully. And then if now I go to checkout, I will be redirected to, I will be prompted with notifying me you are logging. Okay, so that's it for now, and we still have a big issue here to handle token, because of course you have those, we have everything on our device, the user's details and the token, but the token, they expire, right? So we have to see how to handle refresh token. That's the first thing. And also, and the second thing, or another alternative, is just to, if we have the status code of 401, we will need to use interceptors to redirect the user to the auth page, and they will need to log in again and get a new token. So we'll see more good things and advanced stuffs of how to use interceptors to deal with those kind of scenarios. But for now, authentication is okay. We store the information, we check if the information, the user is available on the device. If not, we will redirect the user to the authentication page, and we will handle that. Okay, so with this authentication, we are good. We have the token, and that token we can use that to do to have access to other endpoints. So we have user info.access token. This is good. So we have the token. So okay, so we'll see how to access protected route or endpoint when we do checkout and when we finalize the checkout flow. So we still have two steps here. Once the user click checkout, we will check if he has the token, or we have the information of him, of that user on the device, on his or her device. And if not, we'll have to ask the user kindly to do some sign up or login. After that, we will navigate the user to the shipping address screen. He will see all of his shipping addresses, and if he didn't add any address, he will be asked to add address. And if after that, he will choose that address, and then we will use that address to submit to our server, and all other information, including the product itself. But we will see. Okay, we will see how do we tackle that